Welcome, whether you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, or Pinterest, wherever, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make a cute little scarecrow in sped up fashion. So stay tuned and hold on to your hat. Now, if you know me, you know I don't do witchy and spooky or anything like it, but I did buy this little galvanized witch's hat at Dollar Tree along with this wooden acorn. I'm going to pair them together and make the cutest little scarecrow you ever did see. Something else I'll be using from the Dollar Tree is this burlap and lace ribbon, and we're going to be separating the lace from the burlap. We'll just be using the burlap. The lace will be for another project. I just take a sharp little sewing scissor and start at the end and just, because it's at the Dollar Tree, it's not really sewn well on there. I'm not even sure if they use thread. It looked like fuzz in the end, but yeah, you just pull it apart and it comes apart really quickly. In fact, by the time I got to the end of the spool, I just decided to give it a tug and it ripped right off. Voila. Then pull out all the threads and you can kind of see how they look like little fuzzies here. Reminds me of that spiderweb stuff you get in the packages. And once you get rid of all those tiny little threads, you can set your burlap aside and get ready to wrap your hat. Now, as the saying goes, even the best laid plans can go awry. So I noticed that the burlap from the Dollar Tree was really porous and you could see through it, and that wasn't working for me. So I had purchased this wide band green burlap, and I thought, well, maybe I should wrap it with that first and then wrap it with the Dollar Tree burlap so that it would be more opaque. I didn't want to be able to see the little, what looks like a little pilgrim hat there where the buckle is. So I had to figure out a way to hide it. As I always say, pivot. I really didn't need much of the green, so I just cut it in strips, a couple of them, and I didn't measure or anything like that. I just cut the strips and made do with what I had. I always could cut more, I figured. Anyway, once it was cut into strips, I began the wrapping process. Started at the top, and I just wound it around the hat with a little bit of hot glue every so often. And once I had the top of the hat wrapped, I had to switch directions and just wrap the bottom of the hat any which way I could to achieve coverage. Once the entire hat was wrapped in green, I was able to wrap it with the tan color that I wanted the hat to be, and it was perfect. It was a little bit thick, but it looked like I kind of stuffed the hat a little bit, so it looked a little 3D, and I liked that effect. So that was a nice surprise. I love it when a plan comes together. So what I liked about wrapping it with the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon was that it's a little bit less wide and a little easier to maneuver around the little angles of the hat. So that was a plus as well. The coverage was perfect, exactly what I was looking for. And the beauty of doing a scarecrow hat is it doesn't matter which direction it's going, as long as it's covered, it's a scarecrow hat after all. Once the last piece is on there, you can see where I'm going with this. See that little acorn? It's going to become the face of the scarecrow. So now we're going to decide what we want to embellish that hat with. And I opt for this cute little sunflower ribbon from the Hobby Lobby. And I also decided it's a little bit too thick to go around there properly. So no problem. We just pivot again and fold it in half, and we make our own sized ribbon to go perfectly around the band of the hat. Once that's complete, we're going to set it aside, and we are going to get to work on the face of this cute little scarecrow. We're going to use this little acorn wood cutout from the Dollar Tree. Grabbing a little foam plate for my palette, I'm going to choose a few colors. We're going to need a flesh tone color for the face, so I get to mixing a little bit of brown, a little bit of my Raw Silk Fusion Mineral Paint, and just a touch of red. It makes the most perfect color of peachy skin tone. And you can just continue to mix it to the color of your liking. You might want your Scarecrow to be a little darker or maybe a little bit lighter. So once you have achieved your perfect color for skin tone, you're going to go in there and just cover the whole piece. Next, we're going to dry it up and get ready for the fun stuff. We're going to assemble it and we are going to add the hat and some hair. Let's get started with that. Now I'm just positioning the hat so I know where to put the raffia hair. Now for my raffia, I buy hula skirts at the Dollar Tree or at Hobby Lobby sells them as well. I just feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck with those hula skirts. So here I just take a section of it and I find the middle and tie it off with some twine. And then I'm going to position it right under where it needs to be on the underside of the hat. So when you flip it over, now it's in the perfect position for gluing the hat onto the face or acorn, whichever you want to call it. And for a door hanger, I like to use E6000 and hot glue, not letting them touch, of course, because they don't like each other. But if you use E6000 glue, you can pretty much be rest assured that it's going to stay in place. And a little hot glue for a fast, quick grab. But once the E6000 glue takes hold, it's going to be there permanently. And so I like to use both, especially when I'm doing a live video. It makes for quicker crafting. But if you do have time, you can just use the E6000 glue and clamp it and wait for it to dry for 24 hours and then proceed. People ask me all the time, why do you use two glues? Well, that's why. Okay, so let's draw a face. Now what I did was I went on Pinterest and I searched for painted eyes, and I came up with these eyes that I really thought would be cute for the Scarecrow. And they're very simplistic in that they just have a couple of shapes, and that's really all drawing is. I always tell people, don't get scared. Drawing is just shapes. So basically you're just doing a line across the top and then a half moon under it, and then you're putting a couple of eyeballs inside. It's really pretty simple. A couple of eyelashes and a triangle nose. This isn't rocket science. You guys can do this. Trust me. Once I get the triangle on for the nose, I just go in and put some little lines to make it look like it's been stitched on there, like a real Scarecrow. And if you're not real proficient with using a script liner paintbrush, you can just use a paint pen like I'm doing here. I end up doing both in this video, but you can just use the little paint markers and then wait for them to dry well and go in and mix your colors so that they don't bleed into one another. But it's completely doable with a paint pen. And you might see a couple little lines that I didn't talk about, but they're very simple lines. I mean, a little half moon under the eyeball that makes the Scarecrow look like it's got little cheekbones, and then a simple circle for the mouth. We're giving this Scarecrow a little bit of a surprised look, and I'll tell you why in the end. Taking a bit of coal black fusion mineral paint and a script liner brush from Essential Stencil, I'm just going to go in here and give the eyeball a little bit of color. And like I said, you can do this with a paint pen if you prefer. And going around the edge of the eyeball, I chose a kind of a neon blue. Well, actually, that's what it's called, neon blue, from Deco Art. It's actually called Patio Outdoor Paint, and I really like the character it gives the eyes. Now I'm going in with a little Fusion Mineral paint in Casement. It's a white, and you can see these eyes just come to life. Next thing you're going to want to pick is your favorite bright orange to do the nose with. I just chose a plain orange, nothing real spectacular about it, but there's all varieties of orange you can choose from. You want to choose one that has just enough red and yellow in it that it gives it a brightness. Now I'm going in with the white again and just putting some little flecks of white in the eye because it makes it look like there's light coming from somewhere. And I'm going in with the black and giving a little bit of a mouth. Looks like a scared mouth, right? And I'm accentuating the little stitches around the nose, cleaning up any little areas and darkening them up as needed. And I think I'm just kind of darkening up over where the paint pen was. I prefer to use a fine line brush like this with paint because it's just more vivid and it just gives it a lot more character, in my opinion. But if you got a good paint pen, use it. Okay, and there's the cute little face. Let's give it some rosy cheeks with a little bit of scrapbooking ink. We just take a little bit of Brilliance by Dewdrop, and it is in the color Red Gold. Now, I know it doesn't look red or gold, but you just get in there with a little cotton pad and blend it well. And we're going to get ready for the final stages, which is some Totally Dazzled bling. We're going to jazz up this little hat. I guess we're going to make it a girl hat because we're going to put some flowers on it and whatnot. And here I'm choosing the perfect little surprised spider that we're going to put right above her eyes. That is why she is looking very surprised, because she has a spider crawling down on her hat. So we're going to put the glue on it to make it stay on there well. And I have prepared some ripped fall colored fabrics that I'm going to take and make a messy bow with. We're just going to take a bunch of them and gather them up, and kind of like I did the raffia bow, we're going to do the same thing and make a fabric messy bow. And just like we did with the raffia, you're going to take a grouping of the fabric, find the middle, and fold over the loops, find the middle again, and tie it off with the twine. Once you have that achieved, you're going to nip off some of the ends and fluff your bow. Give it a good fluffing so that it's nice and cute. Next, you're going to attach it to the raffia bow with twine and connect it really tightly, which is the reason I like to use twine, because it does give a nice hold. And I love the way the raffia looks with this bow. How cute is that going to look on top of that hat? It just sets the whole thing, in my opinion. Next, we're going to give it a good glob of glue and secure the bow to the top of the hat. Once that hot glue sets up, you can add the cute little sunflower from Totally Dazzled. That's what I used because I am a Totally Dazzled ambassador, so of course that's what I'm using. But you can use anything you'd like to center that bow with. I happen to think the sunflower is perfect with the sunflower hat band. And here I'm using either B7000 or E6000 glue to give it a good hold, and a dab of hot glue for a quick grab. And then upon closer inspection, I decided, She needed a little bow under her chin there. So we're grabbing some more of that hula skirt and we're going to make a tiny little smaller version of the one that's on top. Once again, grabbing a bunch of the raffia up. And I like to split the wider ones to make them skinny. I like the movement of the raffia. I think it's so pretty. Find the middle, make your loops, tie it off in the center with your twine. Then right there on the point of that acorn, we're going to add a little bit of hot glue and add that raffia right there for a little bow tie underneath her chin. How cute is that? She's so fancy. Anyway, I think she turned out darling. Now, the only thing missing is a little tie on the back so that you can hang it. And I absolutely love that you can take something from the Dollar Tree and make something one of a kind, special for your home. And I guarantee no one's going to suspect it's from the Dollar Tree. I sure hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on the cutest little scarecrow. And I hope you'll give it a try. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you are subscribed and following in all the right places so that we can meet again. Until then, be blessed and be a blessing.